I'll fucking take that, dude. I am very happy with that. Just don't roll into defense now. Do you think Kinich will be as strong as Mualani or not? It's difficult to say. I'd say he's gonna be pretty close in power to Mualani, yeah. How bad is his AoE? The biggest issue is that his AoE is targeted. So wait, let me open Paint so I can explain it better. Right? His AoE, right? You have an enemy. You have an enemy here. You have an enemy here, right? If you're playing a character like Kazuha, you can go here, right, in the middle, and your AoE can hit all of them. If you're playing a character like Sucrose, you can go here, and your AoE can hit all of them. But with Kinich, it always will put the circle in the middle of the hitbox of the enemy you're currently targeting. And it effectively means that his AoE, which doesn't have that bad of a size, is relatively harder to consolidate than other characters. You can hold your E to aim it, but I haven't seen much footage of that, and I don't know how much that slows you down. And it's possible, because getting 4 to begin with is really tight, that that's the difference between getting 4 and getting 3. And so it's really hard for me, before actually getting to test him, to be confident in how strong I expect him to be in AoE. Thoughts about Mualani, Mona, Nahida, Dehya team? Should I QE or EQ at the end? On Mona? Or on Mualani? Mualani? I'm assuming you're not using Mona's E, and you're running her on like 80 more billion ER. I don't think it matters, honestly. Either way, you're not getting Mona's buff on everything. If you Q first, you're not gonna have the Obsidian buff on the Q. But if you E first, you're not gonna have Mona's buff on the Q. The Q, in terms of damage, in terms of DPS, is a more effective use of buff uptime than the skill. So you would ideally want to have it in Mona Burst, like with the Omen buff. But you're losing 40% crit rate, so I'd say it's about equal, probably. Just use it at the moment that suits you better when it comes to using the iframes. It's probably just the best way to do it. Do you think Xilonen, in her current state, is close to a must-pull? If she doesn't see any changes, I think the main thing about her is that there aren't that many teams where she is a strict upgrade, because there's a lot of teams where the things that she provides over Kazuha, for example, aren't, or Kazuha's weaknesses are already, like, mitigated, and then Kazuha actually dealing some damage kind of makes up for that. It's mostly for teams where you would have room to use both, but there's not actually that many incredibly strong 2-unit cores. I wouldn't consider her a must-pull, but I do think that she's the sort of character that can be useful for every account. Is Xilonen burst cost at 15 a typo? It probably is, yeah. Or not necessarily a typo, but a mistake in the data mine. Can Xilonen replace Xilonen International? Most likely, yes. That being said, International is one of the teams that benefits from Kazuha's grouping quite a bit because of how well Child works in AoE situation. And so she's not a strict upgrade, but she's an alternative that can be better in some instances. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm struggling really hard with 12-1 and my characters aren't even bad. I mean, PMA is a very cringe enemy to begin with. And okay, my advice, play Xiangling on the second side. Like, straight up, there's not much else to say. If you're playing Xiangling on the second side, you'll be fine. Channeling is so good against Tulpa. Monopyro second side. If you're struggling with it anyways, replace your Animo unit with Sucrose and get a Global Swirl against Tulpa. It's gonna be night and day difference. Like, if I build my Channeling for damage properly, I don't have Sucrose? What do you mean you don't have Sucrose? Like, your Sucrose is not leveled or you don't own her? Damn, if you don't own Sucrose, that's unfortunate. I'm sorry to hear that. Not much I can do for you, buddy. Rip Bozo, I guess. Ditch the Kazuha and use something else that works in the team. You can use Official, you can use anything but Kazuha. Because Kazuha is completely useless against Tulpa. So if that's the chamber you're struggling with, then swap him out. Bitch, I want to actually showcase the difference between having Sucrose and not having Sucrose for Tulpa. Kazuha can infuse his burst and do some insane damage, but it's not insane damage. Kazuha infused burst is 192 5 times. It's less than 1,000 motion value. It's pretty dog shit, actually. And considering the fact that you have to do it in Bennett burst, the uptime you're losing out on, it's probably not even better than fucking doing one more channeling charge attack. That's how bad it is. Oh wait, yeah, I lied actually. It's not even 192. 192 is the dot. Yeah, my bad. No, the actual damage it's doing is fucking 58%. My bad. Anyways, let's just see the difference between having Sucrose and not having Sucrose, okay? Alright, no Sucrose. Our ult is hitting for 38k. With Guoba's Res Shred, 41k. With Sucrose, 62k. You know, it's a little bit of a difference, you know? That's not where I aimed, but okay. Would you want to live in Teyvat, and if yes, what element would you want to be? I don't know if Teyvat looks like that great of a place to live. Like, the best nation to live in Teyvat is 100% Mondstadt. But I don't know if I'd rather live in Mondstadt or in Canada. Like, sure, if you get an element and you become strong in Teyvat, you can get a higher social standing than you have here. But, like, that doesn't necessarily mean your quality of life will be better. It's hard for me to imagine my life without video games and TV, you know? Maybe it would be better, but I'd have to think about it a lot more than I'm willing to right now. Sharing a vision doesn't mean shit. Most vision holders hold normal-ass jobs. I mean, yeah, but that's just because the writers are fucking stupid. Oh, by the way, chat, if you were isekai'd into a world that had an adventurer's guild, would you want to become an adventurer or not? In my opinion, I think that becoming an adventurer sounds like a fucking terrible idea in pretty much any world. I'd be a non-combatant adventurer and just find lost pets. I mean, you can do that in the real world. Why aren't you doing that? Oh yeah, because it's a fucking shit job. You think you're gonna get any work? How often do you think people lose pets? You think it's gonna pay well enough to fucking eat? In my opinion, okay, I believe that the only reasonable explanation for there to often be low-impact jobs at an adventurer's guild, like collecting herbs or finding a lost pet, is because they pay so poorly that no one wants to do them. Because, like, you're telling me that a job that actually pays reasonably and is just finding a lost pet is not something that anyone in their right mind would jump at? Like, of course anyone would want to do that instead of having to fucking fight for your life against monsters. if it actually paid well. Which means that the only reasonable explanation is it doesn't pay well. If gathering herbs paid well enough, there would be companies, like, there would be merchants who actually fucking set up a distribution or a production network for those herbs. People would actually grow them, you know? Well, you're telling me there's a fucking adventurers guild, but they haven't come up with agriculture? Is that really what you're trying to tell me? Society evolved enough for there to be beer and adventurers guilds, but they don't know what agriculture is? Really? Like, be honest with yourself. You know, I feel like it would be such a... I would like to watch a show that actually addresses stuff like that. You ideally want agriculture. Yeah, like, how are you gonna get beer without agriculture? In all seriousness, I couldn't live in Teyvat because I don't think they have weed. Ain't no way.